Hi there, boat lovers, canal fiends. That sounds a bit wrong. Welcome to another episode of Boating Around Britain with Bob. I'm gonna have to come up with a better name than that. You're right. Yes, that's right. This week we are in Manchester, home of some of my favourite bands, favourite comedians, and all those lovely old Victorian red brick buildings that I've come up north to see. However, Manchester does have a reputation for, crime and poverty in general, and Oasis. I haven't even mentioned the rain. Anyway, let's have a quick tour around Manchester now and see if I was miserable or whether I was totally sorted. Top one, mad for it, nice one. Here we go. For boaters, coming into Manchester is it's quite weird if you haven't been there before. There's not a lot of moorings, and as you come into Old Trafford, you see the stadium there, and you sort of expect a little bit more happening around that area by the canal, but there's really not. So just keep going until you reach Castlefield Basin. Castlefield Basin, absolutely gorgeous. I wasn't expecting what I saw. The moorings are absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love Manchester. I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but it's got some fantastic sights, and when the sun shines, when the sun actually shines, it is, honestly, it's magic. I do quite a lot of Google reviews when I'm out on my travels, just because it's sort of, I don't know, I think it's a good idea. So in case I go back to where I've come when I've been, and I try and remember where the good pubs were or whatever. And this time, as in Manchester, I went to the Museum of Transport and Industry, and I gave it 3 stars, and here's why. For a city that relied upon the canals and boats, Bridgewater Canal itself is over 250 years old. It's just crazy they don't actually have anything there. I asked someone if they had any canal stuff. I just didn't know. They were like, I don't know. So, 3 stars. Click here if you want to see any of the reviews that I've made in the past. It might be interesting if you're a boater as well, I don't know. Or if you're just travelling through the areas generally. Right, pub of the week was Peveril of the Peak. It's a real postcard pub. The outside is those lovely green ceramic tiles cladding, and but what's the great thing about this pub is the people inside. So number one, the staff, absolutely fantastic. They make you feel like you're one of their mates, basically. The locals are alright. There's a few knobheads, as they normally as there always is. But in general, everyone's really, really friendly, and you can just go in there and just chat to anyone. It's got a jukebox, it's got a pool table, football table, it's got Kirby sometimes outside. So what more do you want? And that's why I gave it 5 stars, guys. Some other really, really good pubs that I like because of the beer that they sell, especially, was the Knot, which is right by Deansgate anyway, it's right by the boat, and the New Oxford as well in Salford. So that's well worth a trip, definitely, for all the lovely Belgian beers. Because, guys, you know, I love the beers. Right, so here's the good and bad about Manchester for boaters. The first thing is the moorings, they're pretty safe, you know. I didn't get into have any trouble at all. You know, there's a few people hanging about and all that, as there always is, but yeah, it's pretty safe, I think. But, you know, there is always those people who try and ruin it for you. It's 10 to 5 in the morning, on Sunday morning, and I've popped my head outside to sort of see what's going on. I can't really tell where the sound's coming from, apart from there's just a car in the middle of the car park, and there's someone in there. I think they saw me and turned it down a little bit, but it's still
Wouldn't mind if the music was good or soothing, but it's just like I'll just shut up.
And because I've had my windows kicked in when I was in London, so ever since that, I've always been a bit wary in cities, thinking, "Ooh." I'm sure other boaters are the same. You know, ooh, every time someone makes a noise, or you wake up and you think, "Oh, should I be on red alert, ready to get out there?"
Here we go, come on.
It's really close to Deansgate and sort of like the main part of Manchester, and pubs and museums and things like that. On the other hand, for boaters, there's hardly any facilities around. I couldn't find a water point. I couldn't find an L-sand facility. I couldn't find a rubbish disposal point. I mean, there were a few bins around that you could use, so that was fine. But to actually get a pump out as I needed at the time, I had to go all the way to Stretford Marina. And here's a photo of my face telling you exactly what I thought of that. And that brings me to mooring generally on the Bridgewater Canal. It's actually quite expensive. £40 per week is what you have to pay if you're a Canal River Trust licensee. But I didn't know any of this until I actually looked it up on the website. I stayed on the Bridgewater Canal for 3 weeks, and not once did I have anyone come up to me telling me to move or see any signs saying that you have to be gone within a certain time frame. But having said that, as soon as I left Castlefield Basin, I looked on the Facebook group for Bridgewater Canal and I saw that someone there unfortunately had been issued a fine. If I'd have perhaps stayed another day, that could have been me as well, so I was very lucky, I think. Yeah, up to you. Take your chance or pay the money. I usually would do the latter if I'd have known. Sorry, Bridgewater Canal. Please don't come after me. Please, I don't have any money. I spent it all in the pub. So yeah, Castlefields is really taken care of. But they don't give a shit about your boat. There was a guy cleaning the pavement, pressure washing the mud out between the cracks in all the cobbles and the sets, and it just blasted it all over my boat. And I work on the boat most of the time. And I popped my head out and I said, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he said, "Oh yeah, it's alright mate, I'll wash it off afterwards." Like, it was just absolutely normal. I kind of wish he'd told me so I could move. But he did wash it off at the end of the day, fair play to him. However, he'd actually somehow managed to push the mud inside through the windows onto the curtains. So now I've got all these curtains with bits of mud all over them. I wasn't very happy about that. And there's a lot of just mud just left on there. So I had to wash my boat, which I don't really like doing, but it's good practice. You must take care of your boat. I was actually really reluctant to leave Manchester in the end. Yeah, as I said, absolutely loved it. An all-round great experience, and I really recommend for any boaters you want to go and visit. But our journey must continue, so let's move up the Bridgewater Canal now and see what it's like. I left quite late in the day. I left after work, so actually I needed to moor up quite sharpish. But it was such a lovely evening. The sunset, oh, absolutely gorgeous. As you can see here, I had to moor up in a really weird way on these really strange iron bits poking out the side. And I was on my own, which I don't recommend normally doing, but sometimes it's just really nice to get away from it all and just be out in the middle of nowhere. Especially with a sunset like that, look at that. The next day, I got to Leigh, and after a day's work, I decided to go out and sample some of the local pubs. I don't recommend you doing that. I don't know, just even the people of Leigh kept telling me it's a shithole. Why are you here? I'll tell you why I actually wanted to go to Leigh, is because I am a massive fan of Radio 6 music, and especially Sean Keaveney's breakfast show. And I know he comes from Leigh, and I wanted to know a bit more about what that town was like. I was also interested to see if any of the locals knew who he was. Do you know who Sean Keaveney is?
No idea.
No, so you told me, no? I have no idea who he is. He sounds like a wanker though.
Oh well, never mind. Sorry, Sean. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you're going to join me on the next episode, because we'll go through Leigh and move on towards Wigan, which it doesn't sound that exciting, but believe me, it will be. Just before I go, I really want to say thank you so much to all the people who've been commenting and who've subscribed and liked the video from my first vlog. It was really hard to make, but I'm really glad you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more. Ta-ra, love. See you later.